Hi, it's Imogen Lamport from Inside Out Style. I got an email in my inbox this morning from Marie who said, I wish I felt consistently stylish all the time. And I think this is something I was actually thinking about even getting dressed myself this morning. So I decided on a skirt. So this is one of those things that's always interesting to think about. Well, what's the process you even go through to get dressed? And some days it might be I want to wear a certain pair of shoes. Other days it might be I want to wear a certain top or a jacket. Today, I had made a decision yesterday that I wanted to wear it's like a cornflower blue denim skirt. So that was kind of my starting point. I decided yesterday I'm going to wear that. But then I hadn't thought about tops or anything like that, about what it was going to go with. So as I was looking through my wardrobe at different tops and thinking it's going to be, what's the weather? That was one of my considerations. It's going to be quite hot here today. So it was like, got to be something that's fairly cool. And then I was thinking about, well, okay, so which are the right blues that go with this particular shade of cornflower blue? Because I've got lots of different blue in my wardrobe, as many people know. And so I was looking at different tops and I tried one and it was okay in the wardrobe, but as soon as I went into the bathroom where it's a bit brighter, because it's quite dark here in the mornings at the moment because we're still on daylight savings, but daylight savings is coming to an end, so the mornings are quite dark, and it's a bit of a dark day today or at the moment as well, a lot of cloud cover. So I wasn't seeing the colours exactly when I was in my robe, but as soon as I went into my bathroom where there is actually a window, because there's no window in my robe, I suddenly went, oh no, these blues don't quite work as well as I'd hoped. So I went back and I grabbed another different blue top, and the blues worked really well, but the proportions of that top did not. It was a bit too long for the length of the skirt, which kind of threw the balance off, because I found that, proportions of garments really makes a difference to style. And then I came up with, I was looking through and go, what else has got this kind of, blue colour? So my skirt is basically the colour of this neckband. And then I went, oh, that's right, I've got that. And so then put that on, the proportions work, the shapes work together, added a little, so I've got a shoe in this sort of mint green on, and then added my little earrings, which you can see replicate my Margaret Holt handmade earrings, which replicate the shapes of the little flowers that have a pretty similar sort of purpley blue in them. And so that was my process of putting my outfit together today. And it was one of those things that I want to feel consistently stylish. I don't want to feel some days that it's only not quite there, which is why I tried 2 different tops before I settled on this one. And so that is something that I completely understand. But I was able to get to that point of feeling consistently stylish with, yesterday and the day before and the day before that, because I have my style education. I know which colours work. I know how to put colours together. I understand proportions, and I understand when I put on the tops that was the wrong proportion, why that didn't work, rather than just thinking there was something wrong with me. And this is where, when you don't have an education in style, you don't know why it's not right. You can know that it doesn't feel great, but you don't know why, and so you can't fix it. Versus, because I have that knowledge, and this is what I teach in my 7 Steps to Style program, it makes it so much easier to go, oh, it's just that this is proportionally, this top is a bit too long for the length of this skirt, and it creates too much of a 1-to-1 proportion, which is less attractive, and so therefore that doesn't work. Try a different top. And try one that's a little bit shorter, because then the proportions will work better. Or try one that's longer. Just don't go to that in-between area. And so this is where I think so much of having that feeling consistently stylish is understanding what really works for you, and then knowing how to apply it, and knowing when something is not working together. And this is why I always think you have to try things on together. You can't just assume 2 garments are going to work, because sometimes there may be something about, it could be the principle of volume, where there's too much volume in both garments, or it could be, proportional, elements. It could be something about silhouette. There's so many different things to actually know if those 2 garments work together. But until you actually get them on your body, which is, of course, its own unique proportional being, you're never going to know. And so that's why I think this getting that style education is such an important thing, because it does help you to make those decisions, to know why something is not working. And this is something I've noticed with clients when I've been shopping with them, that quite often they'll put something on and they won't know why it's not working. but they can feel there's something not quite right about it. But this is where getting that knowledge and getting empowered to know what works for you makes it so much easier, because then when you're in the change room, you can think, oh, it's just that this is proportionally not right, or it doesn't go with the thing I am trying it on with, but it would work with something else potentially. Or it's got some line or design detail that's not for you and your body. So this is why I think consistent style really comes from having knowledge. It comes from having an education. It comes from becoming wise to the ways of fashion and how that we have to learn to work with what's out there, but also what works for us, so we can make those best style decisions. So I think that consistent style also relates to things like making a decision not to be sloppy one day and great the next. That's also something. It's like a decision I make. And I made this, at the start of the pandemic, where a lot of people were wearing pajamas every day or their active way. I made a decision to keep getting dressed in the same sort of clothes that I would always wear if I was seeing people, because I know it makes me feel better. And that consistent style does make you feel better, rather than, getting dressed poorly half the time, or just not knowing. And this is where too, if you have clothes in your wardrobe that don't make you feel good, that don't work with anything. So it'd be one thing if I'd put on the top that was proportionally too long and I hated it with every single thing I own. Then I go, I shouldn't have this garment in my wardrobe, but I know it works with other things. So it works really well with, jeans and pants and things. So I know it works with pants, it just doesn't work with this length of top. So it's not like there's anything wrong with it. It's just, it shouldn't be worn with this skirt. So it's knowing what to keep and what to get rid of, versus if you have a wardrobe of clothes, which are what I call the it'll do clothes, where it's kind of okay, but it's not great, then that's never going to make you feel consistently stylish either. So it's thinking about what's in your wardrobe. So if you wear something and you get to the end of the day, you think, this thing, it's baggy and saggy and it's not making me feel good. Or it's, pilled and stretched out of shape, it's not making me feel good. Let those things go. This is a great sign to go, those things never come back into your wardrobe. It's time to let them go. Or if you just have something where you felt uncomfortable in it all day, that's another sign to let it go, because it's not going to make you feel confident if you are feeling uncomfortable. And I think, those things come together. And the other thing with confidence is learned. Confidence comes from practice and doing things. We didn't learn to do anything overnight. Any skill that you have acquired, that you've become confident doing, is something that you've spent some time learning about. And so even though you've been getting dressed your whole life, so you think you should know how to do this, if you haven't got the right style education, you haven't got that knowledge, and so you're not applying anything. So it's much more a hit and miss approach. And that's where, I write on my blog posts, and why I create my online programs is to help you get that knowledge and to become more confident and to learn what really works for you. So if that's something you're interested in, and especially too when you've got that wardrobe full of it'll do clothes, which is just such a nightmare because none of them are making you really happy, or you might have one or two pieces that are, then you want to understand where you've gone wrong. I mean, you can't kind of get yourself onto the right track if you haven't even got an awareness of what you're actually doing wrong at the moment. And most of the time, it's not your fault. You haven't got this style education, so please don't blame yourself. But I'd love to invite you to watch my free masterclass, How to Confidently Select Clothes That Feel Flattering. Because I know that when you get this style education, you start to understand what's going wrong, where you can go better, then you will actually start to feel more confident in your clothes. So I will pop a link under this as well for you to grab if you'd like to watch it. Or of course you can head over to the blog at insideoutstyleblog.com and you'll find a little link at the top of the page as well if you are interested in watching the free masterclass. But yeah, getting the style education is the thing that is going to make you feel more confidently stylish when you start applying that knowledge, because that builds your confidence. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.